GAAR lies somewhere between legitimate tax planning and tax evasion. It's that gray area where companies use clever techniques to reduce the tax incidence. And under GAAR, sweeping powers have been conferred on the tax authorities to disregard transactions which have been entered mainly to obtain tax advantage and they lack commercial substance otherwise. Now, along with GAAR, another movement of the tax policy in India has been to revise tax treaties which provided opportunities of saving taxes on part of the foreign investors. Mauritius and Singapore are the two biggest examples. So in the changed environment now, where we have GAAR on one hand and the change in treaties on the other, taxpayers are looking at alternate ways of structuring their investments where they can get some tax advantage. One way in the realm of equity investments is to look at alternate treaty arrangements like those of Netherlands, where the benefits still remain, though the benefits are not of the same scale as it was in the context of Mauritius and Singapore, but it still allows taxpayers to have tax-free exit at the time of sale of shares of an Indian company, provided certain conditions are fulfilled. Another interesting area that has emerged in the realm of legitimate tax planning, which meets the test of GAAR as well as the denial of treaty benefits that have come about, is the use of debt investment route. Because the treaty changes that have been made are in respect of equity investments and not debt investments. So even now, if you make a sale of a debt instrument, you could still have a tax-free exit in India. Similarly, a hybrid or a derivative instrument, let's say compulsorily convertible debentures or compulsorily convertible preference shares, if sold even now under the revised treaties with Singapore and Mauritius, that would qualify for the treaty benefit. But you have to meet the limitation of benefit clause in each of these treaties. Now, both Mauritius and Singapore treaties have specific limitation of benefit clauses which one has to fulfill in order to obtain these treaty benefits. And those benefits are only available till 2019. So after 2019, if one were to make an exit, one would be subject to GAAR. And under GAAR, a transaction which doesn't have much meaning or much objective other than obtaining tax benefit, that would qualify as something known as impermissible tax avoidance arrangement, and that would allow the tax authority to disregard such a transaction. So where we have GAAR on one hand and the change in treaties on the other, what taxpayers can now do is to structure their investments in a careful manner by using judicious mix of instruments. And if they choose to come through a tax-favorable jurisdiction like Mauritius or Singapore or Cyprus or Netherlands, they need to ensure that the substance which they have in the intermediate holding jurisdiction from where they're coming in is actually not synthetic, but substantial and reasonable, and which can be defended before a tax authority or a court of law.